Hey, what is up, everyone? I hope the audio is okay, and it's a little bit late in Singapore, so my voice is a little bit lower. But I wanted to talk about something that really struck me recently, and right now, I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about it. I'll be very honest with you, and that is why I haven't been making as much content as I would like. But recently, in terms of my business, we had to kind of close the marketing side, right, or the marketing part of Crypto Grinders. Now, the reason why we had to do that was a few factors. One, the whole crypto space as a whole right now isn't at that stage where it requires the kind of level of marketing that we do, right? And I think for the cost to effectiveness ratio, it probably wouldn't be a very good ROI other than giving other companies exposure. So that's one. At the same time, the cost to run the marketing team is definitely way more than what was initially done at the beginning when I was just by myself. So all in all, a combination of the market tanking in 2018 and leading up, still building up momentum to 2019, everything is still on the slow side where companies or blockchain and crypto companies are focusing purely on really making sure that their software solution works. So having said that, we had to really get rid of really good people, right? And it kind of hurts, right? It kind of hurts because we have grown to enjoy each other's company, but at the same time, it is all about a business at the end of the day. And as a business, you need to be generating revenue. So, sales weren't coming in as much as I would like. And obviously, we had to let the department go. Now, the whole idea of when that happened, a lot of things came to mind. And obviously, as the owner of the business, I only have myself to blame, right? Because we couldn't bring in as much as sales as we would like to. But hey, this is the reality. And I wanted to be very upfront about it. I always believe that when you build a business, there's no such thing as a sure shot that whatever business that you create will definitely make money. And I was already very fortunate that I started out the company at a very early stage, okay, at the bottom of the bull market. But because the fact that there was a huge demand and a sudden drop, the business wasn't sustainable. And the realization is that most cryptocurrency companies are not willing to pay for certain prices. And we're talking about market prices if you were to go to the PR companies and whatnot, right? So I realized that since the market wasn't mature enough, we had to make a decision to shut that down and move to another direction, which we are at the moment. So my point in this episode is this: you are your own flame. And I think at the end of the day, I can't control how the market reacts all the time. You just have to figure stuff out along the way. As much as you think that you're going to be able to plan everything and think that you're going to be able to provide this and provide that, but ultimately you have to really drill down on when you should pull the trigger and when you should hold back. And I think the risk management part was something that was really very hard to do. It was really hard to anticipate what was going on. And I asked myself this: how can the business transition smoothly to another idea? And would it have the liquidity, the manpower, and of course the right talent to get the job done, right? So today, shout out to my friend Kelvin for really inspiring me. And Kelvin is, by the way, a friend of mine who runs a very successful printing business. He started out doing his own t-shirt business 6 years ago. Financially independent kind of guy, really solid, down to earth character. Really built a business from scratch. It was his third business before it really took off. And it's great to have these kind of conversations with people who can relate to you. And I always told him that he always wonders why I even have a channel, right? Why I mean, would people actually get it? And I told him that when I started the channel, I have no expectation of having any ROI. And till this day, I don't have an ROI from, when I create content, because I just want to document my journey. And that was the whole idea, right? However the channel evolves, it's all about documenting my journey in the space and how I develop as a person or as an entrepreneur or whatever. It is really based on that. And this goes to show, guys, that even if I'm someone who knows how to invest in the market, it doesn't mean that I'm a really good businessman. And because of this recent, look, I don't want to blame the market. I just blame it on the fact that, hey man, you were not capable enough to sell your services to the market, to the companies involved, and they were not willing to pay the price. Simple as that. So as much as you want to give excuses, you are responsible for your business, okay? And it took me a while. I was asking myself, how do I put this across to people who have been watching my channel? Like, would they even get it? And I think I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I'm really right here, right now, sincerely just putting myself out there. And it's more of to let people know that if you decide to go on an entrepreneurial journey, be very prepared for, the uncertainties, partners who may not want to work with you, partners who disagree with you, money runs out unexpectedly, all these things. There are a lot of things that you can't theorize everything, guys. Okay, you can't theorize everything. You can't predict what's gonna happen sometimes, but you do your best and you learn from your mistakes. So Kelvin was someone who has created this very strong, sustainable printing business, and he's always at the forefront on what he's planning to do, right? So we were just having coffee. We had a good 4 hours chatting. Obviously, the guy wanted to pass me an invite to his wedding. So shout out and congratulations to you, Kelvin, for you reaching the new chapter in your life. And he was just someone who was so inspiring. And I was obviously quite down, right? I mean, look, no matter what, the people in my team are people that mean a lot to me. And as much as I didn't show it as much, I actually feel quite sad. And these are people that really did very well to help, Crypto Grinders build the brand that it is, But unfortunately, things just didn't work out. So I was just pouring my thoughts out to him and just, like kind of seeking his advice in that sense. And he's someone who just is so mature in terms of his age and his experience. I mean, the guy is only like 27 years old, but the vast level of his experience is just that much more. So I mean, then he just mentioned that at the end of the day, you need to find your own inspiration to keep pushing it. And as long as your flame still continues to burn strongly, right? That's all you need, because along the way, there'll be people who will try to blow that fire out. People who will just trash it down to the ground, beat you when you're down, and that's the reality. When shit hits the fan, people will just fend for themselves. People will just fend for themselves. Whatever, when the money is coming in, every fucking person will just roll with you. But when the money runs out, right, that's when you know who your true friends really are and whether they are still there for you. So this is something that it's very like duh, right? It's very duh. And I asked myself this, would I still want to be an entrepreneur? I was thinking very, very much to myself, like, do I still want to continue doing business, or I just be an investor and start trading in the market? And, none of this would have happened. You know what I mean? I wouldn't get emotional. There's no people that I need to connect with. Hey man, I actually do pretty okay on trading and investing alone. I didn't have to fucking start any business, okay? But the whole idea was always on my mind. And, true enough, after actually speaking to Kelvin for quite some time, it really hit me. And right now, I'm actually more firm about the next venture that I want to do. And And this is something that I've always been hinting on my episodes. I always mentioned that I wanted to create an asset-backed related token or system or whatever, and that's the direction I'm going to be headed to. At the same time, asset management has always been in my mind because that's just what I'm good at. I'm good at taking care of assets, right? And I guess I kind of stepped into marketing, which wasn't really my thing. I wasn't a marketer. If you think about it, my channel is just me being me. I wouldn't say that I'm the most brilliant marketer. I'm just someone who just likes to create content. I like talking to people. I just like to, just relate. I don't have the best intros, that's for sure. Neither do I have the best outros. And I always ask myself that could it be that my whole YouTube channel was just a fluke? And true enough, it maybe is a fluke. Right? Like how I kind of came into the space and, how people just gradually related and connected with me. I really, really appreciate that because it just goes to show, right, that even if you are halfway across the world, like hundreds and thousands of miles apart, if people like your content, people like your content. And if people want to reach out to you, they can reach out to you. It's just about a matter of whether or not your content is relatable. And I asked myself that this channel must always be there. And it doesn't cost a lot to really do a video like this. It costs me nothing other than a little bit of my time. And that is something that I will be always willing to do. And I told myself that I must always be true to the channel's authenticity, which is just being honest, right? So that's why I wanted to talk to like kind of just put this out there to let you guys know that the businesses, especially that are currently running in the crypto space, a lot of them are really not going to make it, right? And we were a company that was actually generating revenue in the very first year that we started business. Like off the bat, we were generating revenue. And can you imagine that 90% of the companies in this space are still in the red? Like very, very, very much in the red. But because they were able to raise, I guess, a decent amount of money, they were able to kind of tide through, and you don't really know whether they're going to be there or not. And that is why I've always been very, very disciplined in a way, finding the ones that would make the most sense for us to put the money in. Okay, and that was the truth. That's really how I think. Because when I look at my business and I think to myself, wow, if my business is not having the right market, or at least a big enough market, what more if this market isn't as mature as it seems? You see a lot of news, and which is something that I want to highlight as well. You see a lot of positive news all the time, but sometimes it's hard to validate whether these pieces of news are legitimate, and sometimes it's hard to gauge how far away is the actuality of execution. Okay? The execution part, which is what Kelvin also mentioned, you can have a fucking 1,001 ideas, but how are you going to execute it at the end of the day? And making sure that the execution and the right phase and stage is correct is not easy, man. And that is the part where sometimes I get a little bit confused. So, just saying, like these days, it's more of, okay, how do you make the system better? How do you really improve this ecosystem that if you really want people to get in, how are you going to make it safer for them and make it more credible for them? You can't fucking think of it for yourself, man. Because there are times that a lot of companies, right, especially in the crypto space, they are trying to build for enterprise, which is cool. I get that. You have to build for enterprise because enterprise is where the money is at the moment. And there are a lot of retail related products that are kind of coming out, but at the moment they can't really monetize it. So it's kind of going to be a hit and a miss kind of thing. I guarantee that for the next, for a good number of years, it's going to be a hit and miss kind of thing. So to make it relatable and fun, it's going to be very difficult. I'll be very honest with you. And I think there's a question on MakerDAO. Like honestly, a DAO, I'm just talking about the DAO. I'm not talking about MakerDAO, but I'm just thinking on as a DAO. My question is, you are putting the risk on a management team at the end of the day, right? You are going to be putting your money into this, this ecosystem or this chain that is going to do investments into various different types of investments in the market, which is fine. That is the point of a DAO. Okay, and ultimately, as long as it's secure, it is transparent about the kind of investments or the industry that it is in, and you trust the analyst or the fund manager making the investments, it's really fine. It's really based on that. So right now, the whole idea is to build that credibility and build that reputation in the space. Everybody's trying to do that. And as long as you are so happen you invest in those companies or those right people, where you keep following them and you've been following their trend, their personality, their projects they are involved in, and you like what they're doing, you should still continue. That is just how it works, man. Because this whole space, whatever you want to talk about, whatever you talk about business or whatever, it's all about building trust as well. And I think trust is one of the most important key aspects in this space. If I can't trust that that person is doing the right thing with my money, or he's making the right decisions with my money, I shouldn't really be doing anything, right? Why should I just openly put money in there for no reason? Just saying. Buy Phantasma chain. Right, okay. Well, man, whatever it is, whatever that you guys are interested in at the moment, I'm not really focused on that particular coin or whatever. I'm focusing on building my own ecosystem, getting everything in place, right? And the good thing is, like I said, the whole idea is I want to make investments fun. Okay, I am very, very clear about that. I've always been very, very clear about it. It's just that I was so tied up on the risk management part and the lack of credibility and transparency in the space. It really made me very frustrated on having fun. But the transition of how this channel is going to be like is going to be really fun. It's going to be alternative investments, right? That usually no one will think about. And no one knew that there was so much value. Okay, there's so much value in these markets, right? I mean, there are some people who already obviously know that there's value, but they're not willing to talk about it openly sometimes. So I'm going to be the guy that's going to be finding these alternative investments, right? And it will be no cost to you other than exposure, other than you following and just watching the content, because I realize that I need to keep myself happy in order for the channel to survive. If I'm not happy making content or just not happy to share and what I'm doing, right, then where's the passion, right? And at the end of the day, although, passion sometimes doesn't make you money, but passion definitely does keep you in the fight and keeps your flame burning bright. So anyway, guys, that's all I have to say for today's episode. If you are just like me and you just, hit a rough spot in, your career or your existing business as well, don't forget, man, that your flame has to still continue to burn bright, and you are your own flame. All right, guys, comment below if you're someone like me. I mean, obviously it's very hard to comment this kind of stuff, right? It's always very difficult, but it would be nice to kind of hear from you guys. And like I said, creating content, I will make the effort to do more of. I'm really now a little bit more focused now. It's really going to be full on what I need to do. I just need to draft out whatever I need to do. Yeah, there are a few things that I'm going to be updating along the way as it progresses. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. And anyway, the markets are actually doing pretty well. Bitcoin is actually going up, reaching $6,000. Yeah, man, I mean, look, the crypto market is going to be around for a long time. In fact, it's only going to improve. Okay, that is something that I have full conviction that it's going to be here. And how it transitions is really going to be very, very exciting. All right. Anyway, catch you guys. Have a great weekend and see you in the next live stream. See you guys.